Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of the EFL Roundup. We're going to look at the team of the weekend, the player of the weekend, the manager of the weekend and much more. So let's get straight into the video. And we start with the team of the weekend, and this week it comes from League One, and it's Portsmouth, who got a very important 3-1 win over Sunderland to relieve the pressure on Kenny Jackett's shoulders. 4 wins out of 5 now for Pompey. They're looking good to challenge for automatic promotion this season. But this was a really good win because Sunderland hadn't lost a game so far. They were unbeaten heading into this one. They hadn't even conceded a goal from open play. So to get 3 was really good attacking play from Portsmouth. They got that first goal through Marcus Harness, a nice finish at the near post. Jean-Marquis added a second, and then they wrapped it up from the penalty spot. Marquis again, and those two look to be playing really well together. A really potent strike force for Kenny Jackett to work with. And Portsmouth are looking good going forward as a result of those two working well together. They dominated this game, not in terms of possession, but in terms of shots on target and chances created. 7 shots on target they had to Sunderland's 1, even though Sunderland saw more of the ball. So Portsmouth, a really good performance and a really good result to go along with it. So Portsmouth, you are my team of the week. On to the player of the weekend, an individual player who stood out for me, and we go back up to the Championship and to the very top of the Championship, where Yacou Meite for Reading was absolutely sensational. And Reading didn't play well against Rotherham. They were arguably second best for most of the game. Rotherham played really well, and that is when you need a special player or a special goal to step up and get you those 3 points, and that's exactly what Meite did this weekend. He was absolutely phenomenal. The first goal he got taken down on the chest, finished nicely through the legs with the left foot, and the second goal, absolutely wonderful. One of the goals of the season from the corner, almost an overhead kick with his right foot into the top corner, sealing all 3 points for Reading. They added a third as well to make it a 3-0 win, but he was incredible. He really won the points for Reading this weekend in a really close game. It's going to be interesting to see whether Reading can keep up this excellent start, but they're top of the league after 6 wins and 1 draw this season. So Yacou Meite, you're my player of the weekend. From player of the weekend into the dugout, we're looking at manager of the weekend, and we stay in the Championship, and it's Michael O'Neill this weekend for his impressive win over Brentford. He masterminded this win, got his setup absolutely spot on, and Stoke, the 3-2 scoreline arguably is favourable to Brentford because they got 2 goals pretty late on, but Stoke was sensational, fully deserved the win, and they look really excellent going forward and pretty solid at the back as well, despite those 2 goals conceded late on. Tyrese Campbell was at the centre of everything good they did going forward. He got 2 assists and 1 goal at the weekend. He was so good, Brentford couldn't really deal with him, and this is a Brentford side who should be challenging at the top of the league this season. Michael O'Neill, of course, he came into Stoke about a year ago with the club at the bottom of the Championship, and look at this turnaround now. They're up to 8th and they should be seriously challenging the playoffs this season. They've played so well. This is a landmark win for them in their season. So Michael O'Neill in the dugout, you're the manager of the weekend. We move on to goal of the weekend and we stay in the Championship, and this one comes from Norwich City and from that man Mario Vrancic yet again. 91st minute, he came off the bench. Daniel Farke knows he can rely on him to come off the bench and score a winning goal. He did it in midweek against Birmingham City late on. He did it even later on this weekend against Wycombe, where Wycombe looked on course to win their first point of the Championship season, but it was snatched away from them in dramatic fashion. Vrancic won the free kick on the edge of the area and then stood up and took the free kick, curled it perfectly into that postage stamp of a top corner, and Norwich look like they're coming along really nicely now. 2 late wins this week takes them into the playoff places thanks to Mario Vrancic. He's played so well recently. He should be in with a chance of starting, I think, under Daniel Farke. But Norwich, this is a bit reminiscent of that 18-19 season where they won the title. Started quite slowly but built up momentum as the season progressed and kept getting those late wins, if you remember. High scoring games, lots of late goals. That's how they got promoted last time. Could they be on track to do it yet again? Okay, so we move on to Howler of the weekend, and for this one I had written down Billy Crellin for Bolton Wanderers, the keeper. He made a pretty bad mistake where he came out for a cross and missed it, led to a goal that eventually cost Bolton some points. They drew 1-1 with Cambridge, but in fact I've actually put Ian Evatt, his manager, as the Howler of the weekend for how he's dealt with the situation and how he's heaped criticism on the 20-year-old goalkeeper. It's not really his fault at all. He's made a couple of mistakes in the past week, cost his team a few points, but he's a young keeper, he's still learning his trade, and the way Ian Evatt has dealt with this has been pretty disgraceful, to be honest. Bolton now with 6 points from 8 games, the pre-season favourites for the title. They were really struggling. I think Evatt might be feeling the pressure slightly and he's not sure really how to deal with it. After the game he told BBC Radio Manchester, "We can't afford for him," being Krellin, "to keep making mistakes. Cost us the first goal at Barrow on Tuesday, maybe the second as well, and today. This is me saying to him publicly, man up. This is a man's game and 3 points are at stake." Now, for Evatt, for me, what is he trying to achieve here? I mean, publicly criticising your goalkeeper like that at such a young age is really, really poor, and I don't think it's going to work for him. I think it might backfire. I'm not sure the players will be too happy with getting publicly criticised. By all means, have those words said behind closed doors, but there's no need to go to the media and say those sort of things. And the other thing, the phrase "man up," I mean, that is archaic now, isn't it? I mean, it's potentially damaging phrase. I know it's got links to mental health as well, causing issues in men in the 21st century. And he's also said it's a man's game as well. There's a lot of archaic sayings from Evatt here. It's not a man's game, is it? It's played by women, it's played by children. And Krellin, he could have said it so much better, basically, Evatt. He could have just said Krellin needs to mature a bit to deal with the physicality of League Two. That would have been absolutely fine, a fine saying, but he went for this man's game. He said he needed to man up, and really, it's nothing to do with being a man. It's just being a better goalkeeper and becoming a bit more physical. So for the howler of the weekend, I'm going for Ian Evatt, the Bolton manager. And we finished with the sack race roundup. Where to start League Two? Let's start with Ian Evatt, bringing pressure upon himself. Not a good start, not getting the wins. A couple of points picked up in midweek and at the weekend, which might be okay for now, but he really needs to start winning games with this Bolton squad. Spent a lot of money on it, expected to win automatic promotion, and the pressure does seem to be getting to him. So we'll keep a close eye on how Ian Evatt is getting on at Bolton. Meanwhile, Mark Mosley, bottom of the league, not a surprise to many. We thought Southend would struggle this season, and I'm not sure he's the right man for the job in the dugout. Wouldn't be surprised to see Southend make a switch soon, of course. Could be on for a double relegation, which would be really poor, but things aren't going well at Roots Hall at all. Meanwhile, let's have a bit of positivity because Michael Flynn, Newport County, they're top of the league. They're absolutely flying. Another win this weekend, 3-0 away at Bradford. He's done a remarkable job, and if they get promoted this season, it'll be absolutely amazing. So a lot of love for Michael Flynn, Mosley and Evatt under pressure. On to League One and Russell Martin. He's struggling near the bottom with MK Dons. Another loss this weekend. They're 23rd in the division. Only one win all season. And this passing style he's trying to implement, backfiring a little bit with the players that he's got. So they're struggling at the bottom of League One. He's coming under a little bit of pressure and finding out how tough it is to be a manager at this level. And of course, Jake Buxton at Burton, the only team lower than MK Dons in League One at the moment. He's finding out just how difficult it is to be a manager as well in his first senior job since Clough at Burton Albion. 1-1 this weekend against Wimbledon, so they are picking up points. Hopefully they can start to improve and get a few more points and relieve the pressure on them. But at the moment, those two under pressure in League One. And we finished with the Championship roundup where Philip Cocu relieved a bit of pressure on himself with that important 1-1 draw over East Midlands rivals Nottingham Forest this weekend. Chris Hughton doing a good job there, picking up a few points, keeping those points ticking over and getting Forest away from the relegation zone early on. But Cocu, he's done well to get a point here. He'll need to pick up a few wins over the coming weeks to truly relieve the pressure on his shoulders. But you know, the chairman's stuck by him. It looks like he'll be in the Derby dugout for a few more weeks to come at least. But we do have a new name in the dugout in the Championship, of course. Valérien Ismail is in at Barnsley. They've made this appointment a bit quicker than the last one they made, didn't they? Gerhard Struber, of course, left for New York Red Bulls. Now they've gone for Valérien Ismail. He was the former LASK manager, and he did all right over there. But it's going to be interesting to see if another unknown name in English football can do well here. Barnsley have made a few good managerial appointments in recent years. We'll have to see if he can keep Barnsley up. He's a relatively unknown quantity in the English game, but let's see what he can do. Another exciting new manager to add to our Championship collection. But for now, guys, that is it. That's it for this weekend's EFL roundup. Please make sure you do like and subscribe if you enjoy the EFL content on this channel. But that's it for now, and I'll see you on the next one.